Happy Wednesday, guys. Happy Wednesday, yo. Welcome to the Wednesday night live stream where we chat about all those burning salty questions and random reef chat. I
Oh
love how
man,
you're
the
staying
curtain,
perfectly still,
the
like you're
curtain.
frozen, but I can see your curtains moving in the background.
I was just gonna say the curtain is moving, and it's April 2nd. April Fool's passed yesterday, so my chance to do this to you was yesterday. So I I was trying to hold my nerve, and then I saw the curtain move. I was like, "Ugh, let me give up." How are you, man?
A good thing. I questioned it for a second, and then I literally just saw the curtain shimmy. I was like, wait a minute. I know you. That's awesome. How you doing?
I am doing well, man. Doing well. Really busy with work, some life stuff going on, but I am here, buddy. I am here.
Excellent. Always good to have you. Welcome. So
Thank you.
last week we were talking about auto feeders, and now you magically have a new one. How are you liking the new plank?
I'm a little upset at you that you didn't tell me about this sooner. Now, once I made the decision to go with the plank, you did tell me that, hey, I like it, but I am disappointed you didn't tell me about it sooner. So I went from three Eheim slash hydro ski feeders
Mhm.
to one plank.
Should
And
should you be disappointing yourself for not asking me about it sooner?
I didn't, so I will say, I'll tell you the mind story. Um, I thought it was too big, but at the point where I had three auto feeders, honestly, it's not that big. And because the back of my tank is black and there's a tube sitting in the water, you actually do not see it.
Yeah.
I have to look to see it. Um, but in terms of the functionality, I am really happy with it. I like to feed flakes, pellets, different sizes of pellets, and whenever you mix them in like the Eheim type auto feeder, they
Hmm.
always clog. So I had separate feeders for separate things. But I like the what is it, the auger or the screw that yeah, I really like it.
Nice.
I'm a big
Yeah,
fan.
it works well, especially for mixed particle size. I think it's like a huge win on that front.
Yeah, really, really
Yeah.
kind of disappointed in myself that I didn't know about it sooner. So I run mine for a minute, 4 times a day.
Nice.
Yeah.
No, that's fairly similar to what I do with mine. It's a good way to go. Okay, question in the chat. Safara, I think I'm saying that. I've got a Reefer 750 on the way, and the tank's going in the same place as my old one. Any advice? So that's always a bit trickier when it's going in the exact same spot. Ideally, you'll get some temporary bins where you can basically take out your rock and your fish and everything, drain it to it. In the past, I've used those, 4 foot, $10 kind of Home Depot bins with like the yellow lids or whatever. Those work really well. Basically, drain out your water, put your rock in it, put your fish in it, and just get everything out of the way because you got to drain down your big tank to do it. Generally, I like to use new sand when I do a new tank, just because the sand's usually pretty nasty. You can clean it and use it, but it's a lot of work to clean it, so that's kind of the other consideration there. But make sure you have some extra power heads and heaters that can just be in those bins if it's going to take a while to transition in. Like your fish will be fine in there for the day or so as you're doing the switcheroo.
Solid advice. There's always a risk. You can minimize the risk, like what you said. Whenever I've done that once or twice in the last 5 years, and the last part of your sentence where you say have extra power heads and extra heaters, that's every time this has gone wrong for me. That's the part that went wrong, where I anticipated it only being like an overnight
Yeah.
thing or a same day thing. And then inevitably, I broke the tank. Remember when I broke the tank or something went wrong? And then I wasn't prepared for a days long, you know, and just make sure you have heaters, extra power heads. Um, and I think if you're just taking a tank down, putting the new tank up, putting stuff in, and then you'll fix it later, I think you will be fine.
Yep, I agree. But yeah, just buy a bunch of those bins. They're cheap enough. Just have a few of them, and then they'll be perfect for kind of temporary as you move stuff. So
Yeah,
that's the
do
biggest thing.
not
Cheap power heads doesn't really matter. You just need to have flow in there, and depending on your room temperature, heaters just doesn't hurt either.
do not reuse the sand under any circumstance, especially for if it was a slow move and you had a chance to wash the sand and dry it, that's a totally different prospect. But for a new tank, and I think you'd be surprised how if you're buying new live sand, how quickly it'll stabilize a new tank because
You
live sand makes an absolute difference.
It does,
Um,
and even if you are using dry, like you could take a couple of handfuls of your old sand and kind of sprinkle it around just to help it seed that bacteria. But usually, if you never go vacuum your sand bed and you start vacuuming, it's just going to be black, nasty coming out. And that's just, you don't want all those nutrients and nastiness in your freshly pristine tank. So food for thought. Your rock
Yeah,
will have lots of bacteria as well. So you're
I think
probably,
you'll be fine.
yeah, you might have a mini
Just
cycle, but nothing too crazy.
mhm.
So interesting one. Squid Mike. My pom pom crabs ate all my Bergia nudies.
Did you see him eating it? I know you chimed in and said you wonder if that's happened to you. Did you guys actually see it eating?
I added 6 to my nano, and I only ever found one after my Aptasia disappeared, like just about. And I moved him over to my Nias tank. But I do have 2 pom pom crabs in there, so now I'm questioning it. He saw it happening. So, I mean, it looks like a little nem they carry on their hands. So maybe like, I lost a nem. Who knows?
Ooh.
I have a lot of inverts in that tank, so I suspected a crab or somebody did, but pom pom. I could see that.
Okay.
I know. Happens.
Okay.
So, food for thought.
Okay.
That sucks.
Okay. I know.
Um,
I know. Like arrow crabs and like peppermint shrimp will hunt them.
mhm.
Though they don't mix together, but I didn't think of pom pom crabs.
I keep finding more and more eggs in my little breeding container, which makes me happy.
That's good.
Yep.
You can sell them. Those things. Do you see the price for Bergias these days?
Yeah, it cost me a small fortune to buy like 12 of them. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to breed them before I take any out of here. Once I start seeing babies, then I'll take the adults out and use them and let the babies grow. But I'm trying to build up a
Where
small army.
Where do you get Aptasia from?
Well, I have a bunch in my Nias tank I'm trying to get rid of, which is partially why I built the army. And there's also, if you watch that video I did on that 10-foot reef tank, there's also 10 feet of Aptasia in there.
Oh,
Hmm.
okay.
Yep. So I have a nice, lovely backup source for a while, anyways.
Mhm. Do not get any Bergias loose in that tank. You'll be sorry.
Yeah. And I threw some brand new rocks into that tank, and I took out a few rocks, and it's actually a 5-gallon bucket sitting beside me with Aptasia, and I can already see like a bunch on the wall. I just threw a power head in; it's just sitting beside my desk right now. But there's
You
even
see
some
a
stuck
bunch
to the
of
wall and float.
Bergias.
No, Aptasia just like floating around the bucket and on the wall. It smells a bit funky since I opened it. Lovely. But yeah, I just took a few of those nasty rocks and then just threw them in there with the power head just for a backup Aptasia source. I need all my little Bergia children to breed before I start pulling any out to use them.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
it's all a
If
strategy.
I
It,
respect it.
yeah, but yeah, that's the thing. Because they're expensive, you can essentially breed your own, and then it makes it a lot cheaper to have your own little stockpile and supply going. But again, keeping up with Aptasia is the hard part.
Too much work for me.
It's very easy, but yes, it is more work.
Yeah. Yeah.
They are very self-sufficient creatures. You just throw an Aptasia every little bit,
And when you run out of Aptasia,
then you're buggered.
okay. All right.
Well,
Just
then you don't have a problem to fix anymore, at least until
okay.
they make their way back out of your overflow.
Oh, this is my
Cheers.
little skimmer cup.
Think.
Boom.
I like it. It's a cute coffee cup.
Yeah. No. Cool.
Mm. Yep.
Drinking that skim mate.
Yeah, man. Yeah, definitely an expensive snack, which
I
sucks.
know. I am trying to get Devin to come out to Reef Palooza. Um, I'm failing miserably so far, but
California has hope. Orlando, as much as I would love to, it's a little tight for that one.
I still remember the year you said I'm not coming 2 weeks before, and
Yep.
then you showed up.
That was before I had a kid I had to worry about.
Oh,
I know.
there you go.
The daycare stuff, all that stuff.
I got a dog now. I got to consider.
I know. It's not 100% no. It's just much less likely. That's all. For improv 2 last minute back in a few
If you
days. See
show
you
up,
later.
I have something waiting for you.
One day, one day.
Uh,
Um,
you know, and I think you don't have to pay tariffs if you're going back with this.
spend a fortune on a plane ticket to save $20. All right.
Someone asked me, "Oh, are you going to Reef Retreat?" I am not. I think my reefing budget, not reefing budget, but my no. I think this year I always do the Reefapaloozas. I did the Frag Farmer show. Um, what's the other one? Aquashella is going to be in New Jersey this year, which
Oh,
is the
that's close.
weekend
You should.
after Reefapalooza. So I've always said Aquashella, because it's a mixed show, is not a show I would travel across the country for. But I've always said if it's local, I would absolutely go to it. So I am definitely going to check out Aquashella.
Nice.
That's in September. And then I have the Lyra Frag Swap in the fall. So I think that's 5 or 6 shows for the year.
It's
I
a
don't
good.
think I'm going to be doing another show
That's a
this
pretty
year.
good chunk.
Yeah. So Reef Retreat, no, because my calendar, Reef show's calendar for the year is already full.
So on the reef tank, so you played with any new methods or different things lately? Shelly, thank you. Don't forget that like button. Thank you for the super chat.
Um, Methods, no. Well, I'm still doing Alpha Reef. And once my Alpha Reef runs out, then I'm gonna go back to Triton. Triton, true Triton. I like Triton. So
Do you like it
nothing.
better than Alpha Reef, or is there any big difference in your mind?
The reason I did Alpha Reef is because I was testing all these ALK testers. And one of the benefits of using these ALK testers, a lot of them have a dosing feature. So what better? And they come with one dosing pump, right? The Alcatronic had one dosing pump. The KH Carer, the AquaWiz, they all have a single dosing pump. So what better elements like get everything mixed in one than Alpha Reef? The problem is that because I had multiple auto testers, I tried to balance them by saying, you take care of 1/3, you take care of 1/3, you take care of 1/3, you all take care of 1/3. It didn't work. So I took it off.
What
I
happened?
took
Did it creep up or down, or what happened?
Oh, it kept creeping up, kept creeping up, kept creeping, kept going to 11 when I was trying to
Mm,
keep it at 9.
okay.
Because one would test. So these tests, even if you tell them to test at 6 p.m., they all finish their tests differently or different times. Now that I'm thinking about it, I probably should have staggered it. But if they all test at 6 and they test low, they're all gonna dose. So then you
Yeah.
end up overshooting. Listen,
It's an interesting way of doing it. But yeah, like stagger it. So like one's like 12 in the afternoon, one's at midnight type of thing.
yeah, that's what I should done. But what I am gonna do now is have the take the dosing out of the tester's hands and
Mm,
have the controller at intervals do the dosing itself,
makes sense.
which it makes sense to you and I because we're the geeky people, but you can see how I got into trouble.
No, that's fair. I had a hard time trusting the auto testers to let them dose for me before I finally gave in and started doing it.
Agreed. But then when you're using 4 of them, 3 or 4 of them, and they're all within like um a variance of each, like they're really close,
Mm-hmm.
they're like 0.2, 0.3. I'm actually looking for the screenshot I took. Then I think you just trust it to do what it needs to do.
Yeah.
Let me find that screenshot. So yes, I am skeptical. I think even a Trident, I've done some calibration, and I think even the Trident is within. So I totally get what you mean, but
Mm-hmm.
at this point now, I think I trust them. And I've always said I'm not looking for the absolute number. What I'm looking for is, are they trending in the right direction? And when you export and you put it on a graph, they're all trending in the right direction.
So what's
I,
funny, what I thought you were gonna say why you're changing the dosing, is because of the Alpha Reef. They kind of tell you more to dose off the calcium than the elk, and you're relying on all the elk testers.
I'm relying. It really does it say that? I
Yeah, I think it's because there's a bit of like a delayed reaction of when the calcium formate converts to whatever usable calcium or alkalinity. I believe that's why. So I was half thinking that was your direction on it, but
I know it's going to be hard for you to see, but hopefully. So that is. Uh, so all right, let me just tell you: the KH Carer 8.88, the IV 8.85, the AquaWiz 8.90. I was testing my kid's KH Carer that was 8.70, and then my Trident at the time was 8.95. So the numbers range between 8.70 and 8.95 when they all tested at the same time. So to me, and I had them for a month. So for me, I started pulling them off my tanks. Honestly, at this point now, with calibration and consistency, they are pretty much the same.
mm, Yeah, that's fair.
I'm starting to pull some of the gear off the tank because at this point now, um, I am so right now I'm only gonna have the KH Kara and the Aquawiz.
Okay.
And
So
now there were two, and I'm really leaning towards the Aquawiz because there's no reagent. So I really, really want it to win. It's been great so far.
no, that's awesome. I've been really curious to see the long-term reviews. I'm so I mean short-term for you, but so far so good.
Short-term review, love it. Um, I do so there is a new app which I like.
Mhm.
Um, for someone like me, where my alk was fluctuating that big, you kind of need to. I went in once a week and told it to refresh the reference solution,
Mhm.
and I calibrated often because when your alk is going between 9 and 11, you calibrate often. But someone who's stable, the other people who I know who have one whose alk is stable, like West Coast and Greg,
Mhm.
theirs is pretty much spot on. So
Good to know.
yeah,
All right, keep me updated. One day I may end up with one, so I'm just curious.
I'm telling you, I am really intrigued. It's just there are some functions you can only perform on the button. I wish
Mhm.
you could do those on the app, but
Yep,
other than that,
it's all good.
love it.
Hey, have you dabbled much with Gonies?
Yes.
Have you? So, Fried Grudge Adam got glitter Gonies, so I'm hitting him up for one.
Where is he?
He's in Canada,
He's in Canada.
but is it
Can you ship across the border?
probably not easily? It's a pain in the butt. But anyways, I don't know if it was glitter or if it's I think it's like the maze ball, but there's one of them that doesn't play nice with other Gonies.
Those ones that you just named, I did not have great success with them. I
Mhm.
got a maze balls and I grew it. I got a tiny piece. I grew it to a decent frag, and then it slowly died and left one polyp. Now one polyp survived for about a year, and then it died.
Huh. Okay.
So there's a reason why the glitter bomb and the amaze balls. There's a reason why they're expensive because they do not. They're pretty finicky, in my opinion.
That's yeah. I don't I feel like it was the one, but the thing that everyone is saying is like you put it with other Gonies and one of them will like die. Like there is something was weird about it. Which
Okay.
obviously I didn't want to add that one to my tank full of other Gonies. But I feel like it was a maze ball. I don't think it was the glitter. So I was just curious if you know offhand.
I have no idea,
Okay.
but I think you'll be fine. But that is a pretty expensive mistake.
I just messaged him now to make sure he's saving me one.
Where is he? Where is he? He's Ontario.
No, he's in Vancouver Island. Amaze. Okay,
That's over.
that was amaze balls. Thank you, Bernie. Okay, so is
That's over by you. Sorry,
yes,
is Vancouver?
yeah,
So Frag
West Coast.
Garage is over close to you.
Yes,
Interesting.
yep.
Okay.
Yeah. So Beyond the Reef podcast, that's his. That's Adam's. He's
Yeah,
on
I didn't,
Vancouver
but
Island,
I do know.
and there's also not Frag Garage. What's the other one called? Frag something. Frag Box, and they're in Toronto. They're on the East Coast, closer to
Uh,
you.
yeah, I know. I drove past last winter when I spent the Christmas in Toronto. Drove past, didn't get a chance to stop.
Ah, too bad.
Oh, he's on Vancouver Island.
Yep.
Jeez. He's actually on the island. It must be expensive for him to get stuff over there.
I mean, it's not that bad to ship stuff, but yeah.
Okay.
Anyone had any issues with? I don't even know how to say that.
Parvum.
Parnesium parvum. That looks like
Yeah,
some kind of a diatoms in the
I
microscope.
am.
Looks like an algae bloom. I can't say that's something that I've had.
It's an algae. Oh, it's golden algae.
Oh, golden algae. I've had chrysophytes, which was also called golden algae. So
Okay, let me
if that's
Google
the
it.
same,
Reef tank.
okay. So if golden algae is the same thing as chrysophytes, which I believe it is, I have dealt with it. It was a pain in the butt, and I can't say I for sure know what beat it because I kind of kitchen sink approached it, but I think I tried fluconazole and I don't think that worked. I know I was dosing silicates to try and outcompete it with diatoms, and I think that probably worked. And I think I was also using some of the Brightwell anti-algae stuff, the whatever it's called. There's two of them. quickly look it
Oh.
up.
It's a toxic golden algae.
Yeah. There was Razor,
Um,
thank you, and there was one other one. And I was using them both, as well as dosing silicates. And I think I dosed some bacteria products as well. So it was like kitchen sink approach along with manual removal, and it eventually went away. But I believe it was silicates related. So I feel like diatoms might have outcompeted it, or I had silicate in my water and eventually ran out as a food source to help get rid of it.
okay.
Yeah.
I just started Googling it and I see some interesting threads on Reef to Reef that I'm going to save to read later, but it's interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. Never even thought about it until
Mm,
today. So you learn something new every day.
no, exactly. Um, Safara. I have a yellow Goni, and it's always sulking whenever I move it in the vicinity of other red, green, purples. It's interesting. So, so far, I don't believe I have any that have issues with each other because I have a lot of different ones in my tank, relatively close proximity to each other. And then hopefully I'll have a few more coming in soon. Uh,
You getting more?
Obviously, I'm trading Adam some stuff. For
Okay.
the only tricky part now is like I know he has some Gonis I don't have, but he has some where I question if I already have them. So I'm like, do I get them anyways, just in case I don't have them? But
Duplicates are always nice.
yeah, so I don't know. I'm trading him some gear of some extra stuff that I have for some Gannies. Maybe another
What gear
torch.
do you have? What gear do you have?
Just some extra stuff.
Like what do you
A skimmer.
Royal exclusive?
A skimmer.
Royal exclusive?
Possibly. No, I have them in my tanks too, but I have three. I don't need three.
I'm just asking, what is it, a Royal exclusive? Is it a Bubble King deluxe? Ah,
Are you trying to pawn off that pump still?
I am I'm gonna be quiet. You see what I did?
You just try and trade that pump one day, one day. What power ranges are your Ghanies? Mine are probably, I'm gonna say 100 to probably 2 something range on average. It's been a while since I power tested it, but whenever I did actually it wasn't even that long ago, I don't fully remember. But between 100 and 300, I'm gonna say like 150 to 2 something is probably the average in the tank. Depends on the time of the day. But they seem to do pretty well in that range. 100 to 200 is a pretty safe range with Ghanies. You can obviously go a bit higher, just don't do it instantly. It like ease them into a little bit. If they come from somewhere with higher light, they can absolutely handle more as well. But you're a lot safer with them with lower. Hold a note on me. Thanks for
Just
the super
saying.
chat, oh. Reefing
I
with
just
O.
wanted I just wanted the world to know.
I'm not holding out anything.
Just saying,
There's no holding out here.
Both sides.
Yep. So, anyways, yes, I'm obsessed with Ghanies. Yes, I'm on the hunt for all the cool ones to put in my Nias until it's nothing but a rainbow sea of Ghanies. That is my goal.
All right.
Yep.
The tank looks good. I'm
Thank you.
really impressed. The tank looks good. I do not have the nerve to do a Ghani tank because I'm just worried that goes bad, it goes bad. But I respect it.
I do have one island of torches for diversity. So it's not just Ghanies.
Oh,
Close.
okay,
But now that's the
okay.
problem, though. It's like, oh, now I need more cool torches.
What's your process of dipping and stuff before, or quarantining before it goes in that tank?
It depends on the coral. um, if I. So I used to be a lot more aggressive on dipping than I am now. I've also lost stuff because of aggressive dipping. So now I'm more hesitant. So in a perfect world, I would have a quarantine tank for everything. Now it kind of depends where it comes from. So if I get something and I know the source is really good, I'll be less worried about dipping. If it's like a fresh import or something, again, I'll be hesitant to dip it right away if it just came in. So it's a lot of it depends. I am a bigger fan of the potassium like chloride based dips now because I find it a lot more gentler on the corals. So it kind of depends what it is and where it's from. Sometimes I'll just like give it a good visual inspection, scrape off stuff, glue off stuff, break off the plugs, and whether or not I go into more aggressive dipping depends if I see anything. So if I don't see anything, it might just get added to the tank. Um, Gonies, I don't really dip unless there's an issue because there's not many Goni specific pests. There is a Goni nudie out there, but again, they're
Mm,
fairly rare, so I'm not overly worried.
mm.
Does the 15 gallon still have all the Gonies? Yes, yes, it does.
Oh, that's Mina. Reef with me. Or if you come to California, you can actually hang out with Mina. Cool
Sick.
guy.
Heck yeah. Great guy. But yeah, I think I got about 7 different Gonies in there, as well as some other corals. Yeah, so the nano was supposed to be only Gonies, and then it turned into Gonies plus other stuff. So then I was like, all right, now the NAS is only Gonies. And then I ended up getting some torches. So there's one island of torches, and the rest is Gonies. I was forced into
I
some torches.
you're 15 gallon, right? Is that the Hello Reef tank?
Yes, it is.
I am thinking for my Hello Reef tank in my office, doing really well by the way.
Nice.
Haven't even had to clean the glass in a month.
What? I have to clean my glass all the time. Jealous.
So
What do you
I
have for
think I'm
lighting
gonna
on it?
a Kessel A80.
Okay.
Why you? It
Maybe it's
came with a
because my
blade.
light, why I have to clean it, because I have overkill lighting on it.
What light do you have?
An XR15.
Oh yeah. That would
That's
that,
probably
because
part of the.
there's so much spread and it bounces. Yes, I have an A80. So when people walk past, like it's in our office within a WeWork. So I like the Kessel shimmer because it
Yeah.
shows up the tank. It draws your eyes towards it.
Hmm.
The Hello Reef kit comes with a blade, but I didn't put the blade on it because it's a little bit flat.
Yeah. Well, that's fair. I had the blade on it for a while, and then when I upgraded my tank, I had the XR15 that was in my sump on the old tank, and I was like, yeah, might as well use it. So overkill for the 14 gallon tank. But
Yeah.
so how is maintaining a tank in the office? Because I've debated moving my nano to my work office many times. So I'm like, do I want to deal with ATO and deal with water changes and maintaining it where it's not convenient? Where at home it's easy. Where at the office it's more of a pain in the butt.
I think it's been easy. The last time, Aptasia is what got the old tank out of whack, and I waited too long to take care of it. So it absolutely works for me. Right now, I have a controller on it, but it all it does is allow me to turn stuff off.
Hmm.
I put an optical sensor, which lets me know when my ATO needs refilling. So, for instance, if you don't go into the office for 2 weeks, my ATO can last about 3 weeks.
Okay.
And even when it alerts me, I still have about 4 or 5 days where I can just go to the office and still refill. So
Okay.
it's been fine. I wouldn't put anything crazy, nothing stony in it. So this time when I reboot, I'm gonna do all softies. But
Hmm.
for me, it was the pest. All right, let me back up and say I had a max spec dice 12 gallon or something like that tank.
Yeah.
Now that I have the Hello Reef kit, I realize that the Hello Reef kit, the filtration chamber is bigger, so you have
Yes.
more options for filtering. So that absolutely works. I think last time I used Reborn, which I think presented its own problem. This time I used the sand, so the sand stabilized it.
Hmm.
Um, I buy distilled water. There's a pharmacy. I'm in the middle of Manhattan. The
Yeah.
office is in the middle of Manhattan. I just walk to Whole Foods or to a pharmacy and use distilled water to refill.
Hmm.
Um, and I either order salt for order. There's a Petco around the corner. I either order 5 gallons or 10 gallons of water and do a water change
Yeah.
in the office. If I order 10 gallons of water, that's almost 100% water change with displacement. So I would say I can either do 10 gallons every 2 to 3. I can
Mhm.
either do 100% every 2 to 3 months, or I can do a bucket every. I can do 5 gallons about every 6 weeks. But I've never had high nutrients on the tank, Dev. It's
That's fair.
just
I mean,
yeah.
I could put on auto feeder and pellets, and it might be
I have an auto
easier and
feeder.
better.
Yeah, and a filter sock. I was thinking of getting like one of those automated filter socks, but honestly, doesn't need it.
So
Just
what I was thinking, if I buy a stand, I could get those like those 5 gallon blue water cooler jugs. We have those at the office. I could snag one of those for my ATO.
why not? So I had
It'd
like
just
an
be water
old
changes.
eShops. I had an old eShops ATO at home, or you can get the Red Sea little reef can, which literally like takes up very little space. Um,
I
I have
I
a
would
white bucket.
honest. I already have a Tunze one on it, so I just use that. But
No, not for the ATO. I'm talking
oh,
about for the reservoir. So
mm.
I would get something that you can hide in a corner.
Why not just get the blue water jug? I just have to buy a stand, and then I can just put the jug in the stand, and it's all hidden. So the only
Yeah,
issue would be a
mine
water
mine is
change.
on a desk at the office, so I just put that under the
Okay.
desk. I do have a bucket which is for water changes, but it's just a white bucket sitting there.
Hmm.
The salt that Dr. Tins distributes is really this like crescent shaped box, and it's much smaller and has a cover. So I want to bring one of that to the office just to have something people can see under the desk because all the desks are open concept.
Yeah,
I don't want a white bucket. It's so stark, a white bucket sitting there. So I just want something,
that's
you know,
fair.
yeah. If I could get a Brightwell black bucket or something, I would. But the Crescent, maybe I'll go to Home Depot and buy one of those mini 3 gallon buckets.
I don't know if I would trust the desk to hold it, my little side desk, but it's right beside a window. That's like the main reason why I was like, I don't know.
Ooh, yeah.
Like my
Mine
reefer,
doesn't get.
I
Mine
bought
doesn't
those.
get. Oh,
I bought those
wait,
Max Specs coral paintings I put on the
that's
wall
your
there.
office?
Yeah.
Oh, why do you have a view like that of your office? That mountains behind you?
Uh, if you look to the sides, there's mountains. If that's just across the street, but either direction is
Oh,
mountains.
let's
If
see
you
the
look at
other
angles,
side. No, let me see the other side.
yeah, there's mountains in there.
That's not mountain. Yeah,
Yeah,
which
there's
mountain?
mountains.
That's
There's
that's
mountains.
that's where is that? Which mountains are those? Are those the ski mountains where you always snowboard?
No, but I live in a valley, so there's mountains basically every pick a direction. There's mountains.
Okay, yeah, but back to the tank, the office tank. I think it absolutely works, and it's something to stare at.
It's true, but it's right beside a window. That's my other concern. Is like the heat from it and everything else. Algae,
I think it'd be fine.
sun blasting
It's
in on
it's
it.
temperature it's temperature controlled, right? So my
It
office,
is.
I actually have to use the heat because they keep the temperature at 72,
Mm-hmm.
73.
Yep. Oh, ish. Who
Yeah.
knows what they change it to? But yeah,
I'm gonna get one of those PNW custom tanks, like the 1 gallon, and actually keep it on my desk, and maybe just put sexy shrimp in it.
yeah,
I'll
could be
see how
cool.
that goes.
That's what I would do. Just as it was in sexy shrimp. Be super easy. Thoughts on standing desks? Absolutely. All my desks are standing desks. Like the office one in there. Like that's like this. Focus. Like that's a standing desk, and then the one on the side is just like some weird shelf I bought off Facebook Marketplace that I did to make myself an L desk. But the whole main one's a standing desk, and then this one's a standing desk, and I have my aquarium on it, and it just goes up and down with the tank, and it's
Do
fine.
you actually stand with it?
Yeah, I stood for like half the day today. It's worth buying the cushy mat, so if you do, so your feet are nice and soft and your feet don't get sore. Just throwing that out there.
Yeah, I've wasted so much money on standing desks, and they just sit there.
It's good to mix it up. See, you can just
Mm,
push a button and you go up and you're good.
No, right. I have a crate and barrel glass desk, and it's yeah. I've wasted so much money on standing desks. I gave my old one to my wife, and it's still sitting there. So
There,
yeah.
inspired me. Standing mode now. Um, yeah, I think they're good. I just like mixing it up.
One time my motor broke, and I was in a meeting standing, and slowly I started ditching. I had to keep going down, 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 down.
Yep. Did you have this squishy mat though? That's key.
Squishy mat?
Yeah, to stand on, like a standing mat. That like big thick foam mat. That's why
No,
you didn't. That's why you don't use your standing desk. You need to invest in a decent mat. Just trust me on it.
no thanks.
But yeah, standing desk. I have my 14-gallon aquarium on my desk, and it just comes up and down with it. So most
Yeah,
standing desks can handle that weight, and it's not a big deal.
yeah, you're fine.
Yeah, exactly.
Hmm, fine.
Um.
Let me see what my apex. Oh,
Okay,
oh,
Peepo. When cycling rock, can I just plumb a 55 gallon brute with rock to my system, or should I do it separately? Honestly, you could. It wouldn't hurt to add that extra water volume to it, and it would help cycle it. More work, obviously. You could do it separately as well. I mean, either way would work. You do want to feed it with some kind of a bacteria source or some kind of ammonia source to kind of build up that cycle and keep it going. When I've pre-cycled rock, I've added bacteria, and then I've added just pure ammonia, a few drops of that every so many days. And you're essentially mimicking, rotting food or fish poop or whatever to feed the bacteria. And you can do that to build up the bacteria source. So when you add fish, it's kind of already has this army built up.
Are you? Are they? Are they trying to cure or cycle? Curing, I would not connect it to the system.
Mm-hmm.
Cycling, absolutely, I would do what you
Yep.
said. But I think sometimes we confuse both processes. One is you're taking old rock and you're getting rid of the nasties off of it. That I would not connect it to
Okay.
your system.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Cycling, upgrading from a 40 to a 150. That is a solid upgrade. I would probably, honestly, just for how much work it would be to pipe it in, I would probably just cycle it separately. Hello, hello.
Worldwide corals from
From
our
our reef
reef
to
to
yours.
yours.
Nice. I was trying to read
Yeah.
it when you went down. But yeah, I would probably just dump in some bacteria and dump in some ammonia and just pre-cycle it separately. And then when you upgrade, just put your old rock and all your new rock into the new tank. You'll be good to go.
Do you have the shirt on backwards? Seriously, that's backwards.
Yeah.
The from our reef to yours. All right,
Awesome.
too late.
Awesome. Feed me kittens. Hi, I'm from Kelowna. Hello, local person. Welcome. Feed me kittens. Dun, dun, dun.
Yes.
Hello, fellow local person. Welcome to the live stream.
Yeah. Reef Dode. It's backwards, but a way better design.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Kids.
Yep.
Anything new for you in terms
Not,
of equipment?
not really for gear. I haven't really bought any new toys. The only, I don't know, the Tunze ATO is probably like the newest thing I bought, and then finally got one of those extensions on order.
Oh, you do from where? From BRS or from
No,
Tunze itself?
Phil, he's the distributor for Canada, so I bugged him about it for Pull-Up Lab. Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
But
Okay.
yeah, I couldn't find him in Canada, so I was like, hey, when you get these in, save me one. So because I want to put the Tunze on my water box, but the cord's not long enough because I have my ATO bin on the floor below it. So the Tunze does make an extension cable for it. And it was only like 20 something bucks. It wasn't bad. So I figured I'd buy the proper one instead of hacking up the cord and custom doing it.
Oh, it's actually here now.
Yeah.
Oh, BRS and Aqua Cave. Okay, everyone has it now. Perfect.
Yeah. Well, harder to find in Canada, but yeah, more options in the States for sure. But I think it was like new and just came out.
Okay. Perfect. I didn't realize this. Because mine is right at the edge where it barely reaches. Yeah, this is
Yeah.
so cool. Did you notice that Tunze upgraded like their product line where the controllers are now better, they're web enabled now? Just
I watched an old video with them saying that was coming, but I didn't actually know they were out yet. So that's good to know.
when I watched the video from I think Saltwater Aquarium from Reefapalooza, Texas.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me. Yes. I did know it. Yeah. So definitely here. Definitely working. I
Excellent.
haven't had a chance to look at it yet, but definitely excited. Excited for Tunze to be in the 21st century.
This sounds like a really. Oh man, Matt, I'm jealous. You got a 5090 for the PC. Okay, I've been trying to buy a freaking 5090 for like months now, and Best Buy does these drops like once a month. And I had one yesterday in my cart, last up at checkout, and they sent some OTP code, and it wouldn't accept the code they sent me, and it wouldn't send a new one. I was like, ah, and then of course it timed out, and I didn't get it. So I've been building a new computer to upgrade for editing because I can edit faster. But yeah, so I've been on the hunt for
Why I have
one. So congrats
no
to you.
idea what you just said. Can you
That's
please break it down for the rest of us? Because you said 5090. I was like, oh, you got the new Tunze pump.
no, you use
And then I
Max. You use Max.
realized,
This is IT talk now. I'm sorry.
oh, sorry.
You're on an Apple. So
Okay.
it's a video. It's basically the newer higher end video card from Nvidia that sells out in like 10 seconds because they have zero stock on it. So
Okay.
I'm trying to acquire one because it is a substantial increase in rendering speed. So for editing weekly videos, it would be very beneficial. So
So my MacBook Pro M2
mhm.
2023 64 gigabyte RAM. 2 terabyte drive. That's not good enough for you.
I mean, it works.
Wow, that
Okay,
is so
sorry.
difficult.
Say it again. Say it again.
Um, MacBook Pro 2023
Hmm.
M2 64 gig RAM, 2 terabyte drive. That's not good enough.
That's still pretty solid.
Okay, solid. I get
Solid.
a solid. Okay,
So
okay.
it's in progress. It doesn't have a video card though, which brings me much sadness. But eventually, I'll finish
Let me Google and see what the MacBook Pro 2023. What kind of video card?
it. Okay. Yours is built in. They have cores for video editing as part of the M chip.
I have the Intel Graphics 5030. No. Oh
Oh, so this
no.
is. I will tell you a sadness and sorrow story in a minute here. Let me just quickly answer Jardine's question. I have a 4x4 cube peninsula, 2 MP40s on the back wall, and can never get flow back to the overflow. Any suggestions without moving power heads to the sides? Depends where they are in the tank. So the MP40s are very broad, and I have mine on my back wall shooting forward, and it will absolutely push it out and do a bit of a cycle in the tank. So depending on the height of your pumps, it's going to adjust, whether it's like a little bit or a lot coming back. But those pumps have a surprisingly strong undertow with them.
My favorite pumps in the whole wide world.
Need the 9950 X3D. Yeah, that's what I bought. That's what inspired me upgrading. But no video card. And DaVinci Resolve won't even open without a video card. So it's basically just a lovely floor ornament until I eventually get a video card. Dun, dun, dun.
Again, over my head.
Yeah. So
But you Windows folks.
the way I look at it is I edit videos every single week for YouTube. Every single week I film something, and then so anything I do to speed up rendering and stuff is, worth it in the
How
long
long
term.
does it take to render a video?
It depends how fancy I get. If I just do a standard video, it's really not bad. If I do the fancy stuff where there's like text behind me and I'm in front of it and like those type of visual effects, then it adds a substantial chunk to it. So
Like, what are we talking? Like an extra 5 hours?
no, it's not that bad.
Okay.
It's so. Can a cube be a peninsula? Yes, it can. They basically are. No, it's not that bad, but it's the thing is like if you watch it and you notice a mistake or something, you got to edit out and then you got to re-render. It's like all that stuff. It's just it sucks up your time.
Oh, you watch your videos after you've made them? Wow.
Sometimes. Well, there's been times
Oh.
where I've rendered it and there's like all this black screen at the end of it. I'm like, I got to re-render, re-upload it. Sometimes if you don't put your in and out points in the right spot, there's stuff that happens. Okay.
I can't.
This is a tale of anyone trying to buy a video card. Do not buy a used 4090 or trust anybody because there is a big scam going around with them right now. And unfortunately, I got screwed on one. So
You did?
Yep.
Aren't those things like $1,500 US?
Yep. So in lieu of not being able to buy a 5090 for 2 months, I was like, oh, let me buy this pristine looking used 4090. Looks basically brand new. Guess
Yeah.
what? They are
Wasn't?
scam cards. I took
What do
it
you mean
apart.
scam cards?
I put it in the computer. Not recognized. Windows doesn't see it. BIOS doesn't see it. I was like, what the heck? Lights up, everything, nothing sees it. And unfortunately, I did some digging after I bought it off some person off Facebook, and which I still have to hunt down. And apparently, so China, there's an embargo, and they cannot have the higher end GPUs in China. So what people are doing is taking brand new cards, stealing the RAM and the CPU out of them, and basically smuggling it to China, and then stealing all the chips to suckers that get sucked into buying basically brand new cards that are missing components. So I got buggered on that one. That was a piss off.
If you
And this
do you
is
want to tell me how much you got? You do want to say it publicly?
Enough.
Oh my gosh. Is it because your wife is watching?
No, she knows. I filed a police report.
You did?
I'm on a mission to hunt them down. But that sucked. But basically, do not trust buying a used 4090, especially if you can't test it. So it may look
Ah,
pristine, however,
yeah.
it is not. So I took it
I'm
apart after learning about this scam, and I was like, "Yep." So
never buying Tunze again.
it's not Tunze.
I know. I know. I'm kidding.
I know. No, Tunze's good stuff. Where's my photo? I took it apart and
Wow.
was like, "Son of a."
So there are. So it's a real chip. There's just
Oh,
components
it's a
missing.
real card, but you notice where there's supposed to be a GPU chip and RAM,
Oh.
they desolder it, and they're smuggling them into China. So either the person knowingly did that, or they bought a for parts card off eBay and resold it as brand new. So that sucked. I was pissed. And like, everything looks legit. It all looks brand new, but it's missing, the main parts of the card. So yeah. So that has put a hamper in my computer upgrade.
I'm so, dude.
Hmm. So that sucks. That's my sad story of the month.
You know what? You come to California, I'll buy you a drink.
Thank you. You're so kind. Yeah, so that's a PSA for anyone that's into computer stuff. Do not trust use 4090s because apparently that's the main card being targeted because China can't get them, and those are the ones they're stripping for parts to smuggle them into China. Probably for AI purposes and other stuff, but yeah, still a piss off.
What do they do when they get them to China?
They probably just pop them into other cards. I don't know if you could put them directly into 4080 and upgrade it because they're allowed to have the lower end cards, just not the highest end cards.
Okay.
So probably used for like AI training or something. Who knows? Or crypto mining. But anyway, so that sucked. So I've been on a mission to try and find the scammer person.
Let me know if you need anything.
And if he's watching,
Got you.
probably not. But
All right.
yeah. Dun.
Sorry, man.
It's okay. So sorry, non-reefing topic, but it's relevant because it enables me to video edit. Yeah, new is brutal. The prices on video cards now is stupid. It's absolutely ridiculous. Can you buy the replacement? No, I emailed them to see if I could, and they're like, "Oh, it's out of warranty, or it's under warranty, but it's out of region." And I was like, "Where was it bought? It was bought somewhere in Asia." I'm like, so no, if
Sorry,
it was
man.
missing other parts, 49 replacement fund. Thanks, buddy. Thanks.
I'll start it. I'll start the fund.
You're
You
so
know,
kind. Thank you.
it's not much, but now you need
It was an expensive mistake.
now you need to 10x. Now you need to 100x that.
Yeah.
Or I think I know how. Hang on, I'm gonna tell you how much I think in American, of course.
Mm-hmm. The stupid thing is, it's just because you can't buy cards and it's hard to get any of the high end ones.
You need
So
to 14 times that.
pretty much.
No, sorry, 140 times that, not 14.
Yep.
140 times that. About that. Jeez.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, man. I'm really sorry. I feel for you.
Yep. No, it wasn't even that good of a deal. It was like $2,000, like Canadian.
What?
Mm-hmm.
Price
But
on a motorbike.
yeah, not
What?
not a good day. But if you look at it, a 5090 is the cheapest 5090 is like the founders one from Nvidia, which is $2,900 Canadian. Any of the aftermarket ones are like 3,300 to like $4,000. It's like, okay, I can save $1,500 buying a 4090. That's like 80% of the same thing, and saves me like $1,500. And then I got screwed. So now I have a very expensive paperweight. Yep. There's more to the good story, but we can talk about it another day. I can get way deeper into this, but it's totally not reefing related. I'll tell you later.
I appreciate it.
Yep.
And again, apologize.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so it wasn't even too good to be. Like, looking at other used ones, it was a few $100 cheaper. So it wasn't crazy good deal, but it was like, okay, not bad deal relative to the rest of the market. But yep.
I need some acro power.
I know. But yeah, at the end of the day, it's like the whole point of upgrading is just to be able to edit and render and do all this stuff faster. So, as my Sunday evenings tend to be editing videos for Monday morning, just to speed that process up.
Back to
Easy to
reefing. I
cool
have a
yourself.
reefing question for you.
Maybe. Yes.
Oh, you know what? That's actually a good idea. Are the fans loud?
They're probably not bad. I could use them to cool sump.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
What do you feed aminos?
What do I feed aminos?
Do you add aminos to
Oh,
your reef?
no, I used to. Um, I primarily feed mysis shrimp to my tanks, and I feel that has enough amino acids in it that it doesn't give me much benefit feeding aminos on its own.
Okay.
In the past, I have fed aminos, and I do people that feed mainly like pellets and other stuff, and I do think there's a lot of advantage to feeding aminos. But if
And
you're
like acro power?
Yeah. Yeah, so, like, I have one buddy that swore by it, he had it on a doser, he swears his corals are way better colors with it, but already feeding a lot of, like, mysis that already has those bits of fatty acids and stuff in it, I don't feel that it is required or as much on top of it. So if you already have those, I don't think you need it, but if you're feeding, dry stuff that would be deficient in it, then there is some benefit to it. That's my thoughts.
And the color of this looks weird. Someone gave it to me.
Yeah,
It does
gallon.
look
You're
weirder.
stocked up.
It does look weird, the color.
No, that's normal, I
Or
think. I got some in
okay.
the shed. I'll go compare later for you.
Yeah. Would love to know.
Have you seen nutrient levels of PE mysis shrimp crazy high? Yes, and I always fight high nutrients, and that's probably why, because I don't even rinse it. So
Don't that stuff get harvested from a lake not too far from you?
I can see that lake on my window. Yes, it is local. My fish eat local.
Hey, at least the price won't go up because there's no tariffs, not crossing the border,
I
right?
mean, that's true. Yeah, so ironically, if anyone uses PC mysis, it is from my local lake that's, 15-minute drive from here. So
Oh,
way back, this is kind of a funky story, but way back when they had whatchamacallit. I rinse out my PE mysis. I probably should. But yeah, so local, they added a bunch of mysis originally to like they're trying to compete with something with the fish or add a food source for like the salmon or whatever fish is in the lake. But then they went down deeper than where the salmon were, so they weren't really becoming a food source, and they only came up at nighttime to eat the plankton and stuff out of the water. So it kind of backfired and they exploded. So now they harvest the mysis out of there to kind of like help with the fish population. And then so it's
really?
kind of helping the environment in a weird way. But it also is like a business model for a fish food, so it's kind of dual purpose, which is funky. But yeah, no, they'll go
We're
out at
not the
nighttime.
only. We're not the only. I've always heard about people rinsing PE mysis,
Yeah.
but I always thought it was the only reason why I tested high was because you were testing this one little concentration.
Hmm.
But maybe there's
So
something to that.
yeah, so they pull it out of the lake and they flash freeze it like on the boat. So they flash freeze to keep all those nutrients in it. But again, lake water and all that stuff probably isn't the best for my tank. But this being said, I've done a video with another guy that does a water change with lake water in his tank, and his tanks are perfectly fine and nice. So I don't know what his
We
nutrients are
mean the
like.
water change with lake water, like
Yeah, he
mixes
legitly
salt
uses lake
in lake
water. Yep.
and
I don't know if it's the same. I don't know if it's Okanagan Lake, which is the same one with where the mice come from, or if it's one of the other ones. I'll ask him. I am curious now.
interesting.
I know, where some of us were hardcore pristine on that, and he's like, "Yep, lake water." I'll go do a video with him again. I haven't been to his place in probably a year,
And
so
he has, in your opinion, a nice tank.
he grows and sells coral, so he's doing all right.
Really? Is
Mm-hmm.
it Fragarad? That's
Nope,
his secret?
nope.
Oh, I was about to say. I
He lives
thought
on
I
the island.
discovered.
He has saltwater technically. I don't know
He
how far it
lives
is
on
from
that island too?
Vancouver
Maybe it's
Island.
the water. Maybe it's something in the water over there.
Maybe. What's the difference in PE mysis, Zakari mysis? Different sources, different brands, different sources. I just grab a cube, throw it into the two little fishies nori pouch. Not a bad way to do it. Set in the reef tank. Yeah, I buy the big the big packs of frozen just because they're I don't know works a bit cheaper. Just break off a chunk and throw it in a little cup with some salt water and wander around and dump it in all my tanks. But yeah, I probably should rinse it and see how that affects my nutrients after a while.
And the PE mysis, you see whole mysis when you do it
Hmm?
versus Hikari, you do get a lot of parts and
Yeah,
it's smaller one. So I do think the PE mysis is the best one.
yeah,
Because when you get the big jumbo flat pack, you're actually seeing whole pieces of mysis in it.
yeah. No, that's the ones I always get. But yeah, a lot will come out if you rinse it. So okay, so yes, it is adding probably way too much phosphates and stuff to my tank. But the way I always look at it is I don't want to lose all those little particles, because to me that's coral food. Like the fish get the big stuff, and all those teeny particles float around the tank, and then the corals get it. So that's my outlook on it. But yes, rinsing it. If I got like a super fine Sevi for like brine chip, it'd probably work to rinse it. But
Yeah, you'll just always need GFO. That's just you.
yeah, I mean, I use it once every few months. Maybe I'll use it a little bit to knock it down, but I don't normally use it. It's like I used to, but I also feel like it robs your trace elements because it does. So it's like this weird thing. So every once in a while, I'll use it if it creeps up too much.
Yeah.
Fermented snail food? Yep, likely.
What Fan said is real. I'm really thinking about it because I've never been one to rinse any kind of frozen food, and I just wonder if you know. I do not want to put a refugium back. I do not like my
Yep.
living life now without a refugium. So anything I can do to, you know, I feed frozen a couple times a week.
Hmm.
So anything I can do to minimize it, I'm wondering because even when I'm making my own fish food, man, I always pour the juices. When you have raw seafood,
Hmm.
seafood, frozen seafood, and you're mixing it, inevitably some of it unfreezes and you have just water.
Yep.
I'm not wasting anything. I'm pouring it back in. So maybe I should refine my process.
If you have high nutrients, rinsing is probably a good idea. If you have
Yeah.
low nutrients, dump it all in because you need those nutrients, right?
Yeah. I go to the Jersey beach or Jersey Shore like every year. And whenever I'm there, I always pick up clams and come home, freeze them, and shuck them. And
Yep.
the process of shucking clams, there's always water. I never
Hmm.
let that water go to waste. I'm keeping it. I'm pouring it back in. Just when you're doing squid and you're like food processing the squid, I never waste any of the water. So even more so than rinsing, what Dan said, I think I should just be more careful with even the juices from things when you're putting it in the food processor.
Yeah, that's fair. Realistically, the juices probably aren't adding much nutrition to your tank, right? It's all the particles are the protein. The juices, though, they're probably just adding nutrients.
Yeah, I think so. I think it's yes.
Okay. I think I've been inspired to get a little Sevi to
I think so. I'm dying a little bit inside thinking of oh,
rinsing.
yes.
I know.
Not just yeah. I
You know
need to make a new batch of fish food. So maybe I'll just be more mindful.
what actually works well is I have an RODI unit I put on the sink for drinking water with like the little pressure tank. There's no DI, so it's just an RO. But I use that for just like mixing, dosing additives and stuff. But realistically, it would be good for just rinsing stuff as well because it's your fresh, your almost pure water. How's the Aquawiz cage testing going? We were talking about that at the beginning. Thinking importing them
Um
directly from Taiwan cost around 430K pounds. So far, I was a fan.
love it. I don't I We can't get this right, but I cannot
Just
get
block your face so the camera doesn't focus on your eyeballs. Because you have a Sony, so it prioritizes your face. Still see your
it
eye.
does.
Yeah. Just put it in front of your face. There you go. See? It works.
Oh wow. So
Cage.
you can see how it is really, really 8.88, 8.88, 8.5, and 8.90. So it is absolutely so far. At one point I had five out testers. I'm now down to two, and the
Hmm.
Aquawiz made the final two.
Nice.
So it's probably long term going to end up the one,
Hmm.
um, because then I won't have to buy reagent jugs every year. Go figure.
Honestly, no reagent is the biggest appeal to me on that.
Yes.
Because you can test as much as you
Although
want.
I although I do get this and I get a good value of these, and when I'm buying them, I buy them in bulk.
They
There's a
last so
Coral
long
View
too.
reagent, yes, but to have jugs of stuff, it's amazing. This is my work desk, and I just have random reef stuff like this. I have Acro Power. Here is my mud. Look,
I feel you.
just everywhere. So yes, yes, I am really excited to not have to use reagent. So it's made the finalist for me. So I use my old tablet to my
Nice.
Apex little thingy. It's just weird. We just have all this stuff.
It happens. So, how's the noise level on it? Do you notice it testing?
I think it's not a big thing. After our last conversation, what I am going to do, I ordered some little, after talking, I think I spoke to you and you said you did this entire noise dampening system where you have it on the walls.
Yes.
So I think a long time ago I had a conversation with someone about noise dampening. So I bought some dampening pads.
Hmm.
They haven't arrived yet from Amazon.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it's not a lot of noise, but I know everyone is different sensitive to
Yep.
noise. So I took some baseline measurements with a dB sensor from my phone,
Mm-hmm.
and then I'm gonna just see if I can dampen it a little bit.
Nice. So it's not bad, but it's noticeable.
No, it's it's quieter than you have an Alcatronic, you have a
Yeah,
Trident.
I do.
It's quieter than all of them. I'm just trying to get it as quiet as possible
No, that's fair.
because it tests every hour. It's
That's
an
why I want
hourly
to
test.
know, because testing twice a day or testing 24 times a day is the difference on the
Yes,
opportunities to hear it. You're
yes,
fancier than me. One day I'll find one to try.
yeah. Hmm.
Uh, DM coral collectors. You can answer any questions. There you go. You got options.
My kids.
Dun, dun, dun. That's normal. About that time. All right. So speaking of kids, I'm gonna get sucked out pretty fairly soon. So if there's any other reefing questions we didn't ask, definitely ask those again, just to re-highlight them in the chat. So, lesson of the day: do not trust or buy a used 4090 because majority of them are scams. I've learned, especially if it looks pristine and new.
On Facebook, because if you bought
No,
it on
anywhere,
eBay, you had a
anywhere.
recourse. But if you
No,
bought it on eBay, you had a recourse.
ish.
No, you could file a complaint.
Yeah, I guess. But still a pain in the butt. Anyways, don't trust the
If you
4090s.
if
Those
you
are the
bought it
ones
on
in the
Amazon,
scam,
if you had bought it on Amazon or eBay, you could have filed a complaint.
possibly. Okay.
Yes,
Other end
not a
cards are
possible.
probably fine. 4090s, don't trust them.
Okay.
Kimchi and rice. Don't know what to say about that one, Alyssa. Dun-dun-dun. Best place
I
to buy an Aqua Whiz.
I will tell you. Oh, hang on a second. I do know. Oh my god, I should know this off the top of my head. I should know this off the top of my head. Um, why do I not know this off the top of my head? You can get it from Collector's Corals.
Collector's Corals?
Yes,
Okay.
he's out there on the West Coast in San Francisco. So, yes,
Perfect.
Collector's Corals. I think he handles it in the U.S. So, yes.
Okay. Eek. I started a brand new tank yesterday. I have 0 ammonia, trace nitrate. I use live sand and dry rock. What's going on? You need to feed it ammonia. You need to put an ammonia source into your tank, whether it's fish food or pure ammonia, but you need something in there to feed the nitrogen cycle. That's what's going on. Give it an ammonia source. That starts the whole process. Reef Ode. Always a good thing. I bought my first MP40 used, got home, and the ceramic was broken. You know, I have one with a little bit of broken in the shaft, but it still works fine. But yeah, always good to
Ooh,
test it.
I
Yeah.
have another suggestion for AquaWiz. I just thought about it. Um, with the other alkalinity testers, the ones that you connect to the hydros, you really should be trying the hydros. That I know, but you can actually import the pH. When it's testing, it imports the pH because the AquaWiz is testing every hour. It'd be really nice to know what the pH is, wouldn't it? Because all the out testers, even though I said I took them off, I didn't really. I still have them, but you can import the pH from them. So like the KH Carer, you can
Mm,
actually have it sample the pH at the same time when it's
yeah.
doing a test. So again, having your pH tested every 6 hours is not that valuable. But if your out tester is going to be testing every hour anyway, and it's sampling the pH every hour, that'd be
Mm-hmm.
a nice data point to have
Mm-hmm.
because at least it'll give you the trend. Because what you really want to know is the trend.
Yep.
That's really interesting. So just
I
I'm
agree.
going to provide some feedback to them.
That's good. I like it. I appreciate that you can pop it into other controllers too. I know the Aquawiz can link to Apex. Is it possible to link to GHL? Yep, same thing. It just uses
Yeah,
a BNC pH port. So you just, as long
yeah,
as you have a free pH port, you're using that to get your value in.
yeah. I bought a 10-foot long BNC connector. Yeah. Interestingly, did you know I don't know why I know this, but the salinity probe for the hydros, it's BNC. It's
Fair
actually
enough.
BNC. So I had
Hmm.
to, it's only 3 feet long, which is really annoying depending on where you want to place it. So I had to buy a BNC extender cable from Amazon
Mm-hmm.
to get it to stretch a little bit farther.
Yep. Good to know. Um,
I re we need to get you. Listen, I'm not trying to get you to convert, but I think you need to at least try, run the hydros on a tank.
I'll try one again one day. I'm still a bit tainted
When you're
from my
doing the
original one.
office tank, I totally understand.
Yep.
When you're doing the office tank, I think it's worth trying.
Yep. Um, What are you going to use to test, and what is your water source? I think that was for other buddy with his new tank. Jardine, with Reef Moonshiners, did you try the vitamins or mud? Yes, I did. I still have the vitamins, which I randomly dose.
You do?
Yep. I'm very bad at being consistent, but yes, I do randomly dose it. Is it worth, or is it just extra? It's hard to say. Anecdotally, like when I was doing the full program, like properly daily, like stuff looked good. Like the corals are extra vibrant. Like the tank was looking good. When you just do it randomly, it's hard to say. Like anecdotally, you feel like it is, but it's hard to quantify that on its own.
Fan just posted something about the BNC, and I just Googled it and I went on the Wikipedia page and going down a rabbit hole now reading about BNC.
The guy's name who developed it.
Yeah.
Yep. Let
I
me
thought
see.
it was, yeah, Bayonet Neil Consimon. Okay.
Um, okay, Donald, can you calibrate the Trident with tank water using HANA test kits as your calibration? Yes, you can, because you can put in the values that you're calibrating it with from the calibration solution. So you could just put in. There's nothing stopping you from putting all your tester kit values in, right? They'll match your
For
test
which
kits.
device?
The Trident
The
calibrating in
you can
tank water.
can you do that with the regular Trident now?
Yes.
So I saw the video Ecotech. I'm on Ecotech Experts, and I did see the video that they were going to do it. Um, I now know you can do it for the Trident NP. Have you done that?
I ran out of reagent, so no. But eventually, when I buy more reagent, I will happily try it.
I just want to know. Okay, interestingly, but so have you lost the ability to calibrate with the actual solution that comes with it?
I don't think so, but I've
Because
ran
I
out
don't
of.
see it.
I've
I don't
had.
see it anywhere.
I mean, I can check the app, but then again, I'm in a I have a beta version of the app, so it might not be. I do a lot of beta testing.
You know what? I got nothing to say. Nothing I say is gonna be good. So I
I
think I'd
test a
rather
lot
not
of
say
stuff.
anything.
I do a lot of beta testing. I have many
That's cool.
things, so it's like okay. So sometimes you gotta take with a grain of salt because it's like,
I'm just,
is it in there or is it just because it's the other one? I gotta flip back to the regular one.
I'm
100% say.
just saying. You're good with me. Just saying. I am.
I am techie. I provide good feedback. I'm a hardcore reefer. I'm a hardcore technical person. I can give great feedback on if there's an issue, what caused the issue, what it is, how to improve it. I got this.
No, no, no. I agree. I totally agree. When you hit perform calibration and now ask you for a nitrate and phosphate reading, when before it just asks you to
Oh
put,
yes, because they didn't tell you the nitrate and phosphate reading on the original bottles. It was
they
just
do on
like
the new bottles now.
I don't know. I ran out of reagent. I was legitly gonna buy some off BRS when I ordered some other stuff, but they're like, "Oh, this doesn't ship outside the states." So I was like, "There goes that plan." So I haven't bought any yet. Um,
They don't give you the lot number, so we wouldn't know. All it has is a lot number.
yeah, that's the original ones. The newer ones, I'm assuming they'll tell you the values, but I'm not 100%. Kind of like the Trident. This is just a blind
Okay,
guess.
but what if you had a whole bunch of because the solutions were hard to get, so I have
A stockpile?
Yes,
Where'd you get a
not a
stockpile?
year. Here's what happened. I couldn't get reagents, so I ended up going to everywhere that was selling it and ordering. I went to Aqua Cave. I went to BRS. I went to Saltwater Aquarium. I went to everywhere that was selling it, and they all told me, they were like, "Hey, we don't have it in stock now. Do you want a refund?" Or I was like, "No, ship it when you got it."
Hmm.
What do you think happened? Everyone got it in stock,
At the same time, now you got a stockpile.
and then they all shipped it. So I said, "Hey, instead of canceling all these orders, I'll just keep them.
Hmm.
I'll just keep them, and just have a stockpile." So now I have a mini stockpile.
That's fair. There you go. It's good to be stocked up.
All right. If anyone from Neptune/Aperture is watching, can I get a calibration solution when I see you guys in Orlando? In fact, I'm going to carry this and ask them to swap it for me.
What's wrong with the one you have?
It doesn't have a, a,
Oh,
a number on it, and
that's why.
I need to, because now when you hit the perform calibration thing, it now asks you to put in a nitrate and phosphate.
That's why I'm assuming they do. Can you buy calibration without buying reagents? I don't think so. I mean, if you contact them directly, you probably can, but they generally just comes in a kit, from my knowledge.
Yeah. Yeah. So, ooh,
Red
give
Sea
me.
filter rollers. Do you have didn't you have a source for like non-Red Sea roll replacements?
I do. Give me 1 second. I just spilled my coffee. Un
Okay,
momento.
sounds good. And gone. It's okay. If there's any consolation, not that you're watching, you turned your camera off, but I spilled some on mine last weekend. Ocean Wonders AliExpress. Now, do they fit on the Red Sea roll? If so, that's kind of cool. All right, probably gonna wrap her up pretty quick because I gotta go make dinner for the family pretty quick. So, any last minute questions? Fire away, chat. Fire away. What would cause acros to bleach from the tips? Too high of alkalinity. If your phosphate is potentially related, but usually burnt tips are usually too much light.
I put my coffee, my skimmer coffee on the floor.
Oh, skim
Get
it
over.
everywhere.
I know. Yes, skimmed
Yeah,
coffee. Now it still smells like espresso and cappuccino.
at least it smells better than skimmate. Now, also with acros, sometimes if they're growing too fast, you'll see white tips. That's also possible. But if they're like dead tips, then usually it could be too much light. Um,
Back to, you had asked me a question about a freeze roll. Yes, there is a guy, Precision Consulting. Yes, that you need to buy a little 3D printed ring.
Mm-hmm.
But generally, yes, his rolls are about $10 each. They're longer than the Red Sea rolls, and you can get them in whatever micron you want. It
Nice.
seems like Ocean Wonders or someone else sells it,
Mm-hmm.
but I actually need to order some more rolls.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, the he said he tried his rolls in the Clarity, doesn't work.
Wonder why. Like
I
just
think
the
his
width.
rolls are a little too thin. They're kind of thin, and
Mm-hmm.
when they pull through, I think they hitch. And I think the torque of the motor and just the way it needs to travel is just a little too much.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I don't know how it would work in the Reef factory rolls. It looks interesting, but the Reef factory rolls last so long. I don't think those need any experimenting with to make them last longer.
Yeah. You know what's funny
Yeah.
with the Claire seed, the ones that I use, but in the early days, like you felt like it burnt through them quicker, and now they feel like I rarely ever change them now. They last ages now. But it's funny, the longer you've had it on a tank, they just run out of tiny particulates to do, and they just last longer and longer and longer over the years.
That's what happens.
Mm-hmm.
That's absolutely what happened. So my roll was jammed and I left it alone for 2 days. When I fixed it, I can hear it moving better than normal. No, because it wasn't filtering anything over the last couple of days. So, but what has happened is in a day or two, it's going to slow down.
Yeah. Interesting. Okay, Carl, the default number for the nitrate is 50 and phosphate is 0. Is the value for the MP calibration solution. I feel like
No,
there would
that's just
be a number for the
no.
phosphate, though, because it would have to calibrate to
That's
something, I would think.
That's just the number that shows up when you hit the calibration button. I would not accept it as the default.
You should just
That's
ask
just the
them.
numbers. Yeah, I'll definitely ask.
Call
But
them
if
and
I'm gonna
ask.
see
They'll
those,
probably tell you what it is. They know.
I just I just
Somebody knows.
changed my I just changed my thing.
Okay.
I'm not gonna need it for, definitely can last for another 30 whatever days, 45 days. So I'll just wait until I see these guys in Orlando and then ask them.
That's fair enough. But I'm just saying, you could just call them and ask them, or
I
email them
could.
and ask them.
Oh, try to call them today and their phone number was off today. So I think they were doing company training. So
Fair enough. All right,
yes.
guys, we're at an hour and a half. I got to wrap her up pretty quick here, but thank you guys for hanging out today.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining me.
I hope my little donation helped, replacing
Oh,
the card.
thank you for the super chat. Shelly, thank you for super chat. Jardine, thank you again. Appreciate you guys. Yeah, so do not buy a used 4090 because it's probably a scam from all the research I've been doing, as most of them are now.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, it sucks.
I'm gutted for you.
I feel like I should have known better, but at the same time, I had like my family with me. I didn't have any way of testing it and blah, blah, blah. Anyways, still sucks. PSA. Happy reefing.
And good night.
We'll see you guys next week. Thanks.